How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail video. Today we're going to be looking at some important tips to help you avoid making mistakes and wasting your Trailblaze power. We're going to be talking about relics. You should be around the Trailblaze level 40 through 50 range, and you're going to want to start farming a bit of relics, as this is the first time in which you will be able to get legendary relics, which are going to be some of the strongest in the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the sets. We're going to rate them 1 to 5 stars. And on top of that, we're going to give you the best option for spending your Trailblaze power. So let's go ahead and dive right in now. First up, we have the sets inside of the simulated universe. World 3 is going to be our first stop as we look into the Space Sealing Station set. This is going to increase your attack by a flat amount and then further increase your attack once you reach 120 speed. The set is very powerful and is going to be the go-to option for majority of your DPS characters. We're going to go ahead and give this one 5 stars. Next up, also in World 3, we're going to look at the Fleet of the Ageless set. This is going to give your max HP a 12% boost, and on top of that, when you reach a speed of 120, all allies' attack is going to be increased by 8%. This set is phenomenal for placing on a supporting character, as it will allow you to increase the power of your carry's damage, which is going to be your main goal here. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 5 stars as well. Moving on to the next world, we have World 4, and we're going to start off with the Talia Kingdom of Banditry set. This is going to increase your break effect by 16%. Break effect happens whenever you deplete the enemy's toughness gauge to 0. You're going to trigger a special effect. And not all of them are the best. Some of them are a lot better, like the bleed effect, for example, is going to increase the damage based off the monster's maximum HP. And Wind has some nasty damage over time abilities. So this is going to be very ideal for characters like Sushang and Sampo, but you're going to need to have a specific build in mind and a specific set of gear to make this really work. And in addition to that, you're going to have to somehow reach a speed of 145 and higher in order to get another break effect increase by 20%, which is a very large speed metric to hit. So for that reason, I'm going to give this set 3 out of 5 stars. I think it has some utility, but it is a little bit difficult and tricky to pull off. Next up on our list, also from World 4, is going to be the Springly Von Whack set. I don't know if that's going to be the correct pronunciation for that, but that is my best try. It's going to increase your energy regeneration by 5%, which is not a lot, but hey, it's something. When you reach 120 speed, you're going to get your action forward by 40% when you enter the battle first only. So this is only going to happen one time. So if you have 120 speed before you go into the battle, you're going to get to take an action faster in the cycle order, which can be nice, but since it's sort of a one-time deal when you enter the battle, I don't think that it's going to be that good. Plus, the 5% energy regeneration rate is not going to be that much at the end of the day. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 1 out of 5 stars. Now it's time for World 5, so let's go ahead and see what it has to offer. The first set is going to be the Pan-Galactic Commercial Enterprise. That's a long set name, but that's okay. It's going to increase your effect hit rate by 10%, which is a very good stat for freezing characters, especially proccing burns and other status effects, so this can be really nice. It's also going to increase your attack by 25% of your effect hit rate, scaling up to a maximum of 25%. So if you have theoretically 100% effect hit rate, you will get 25% attack on this. This can be really good. I would ideally want to use this on somebody like maybe Gepard, so that you can really freeze lock somebody down, or even March 7 or a couple other characters that really want to lock in these status effects and hit them hard. So this can be an option. I will say that it's probably not the best route to go. I'm going to go ahead and rate this one 3 out of 5 stars. Next up in World 5 is going to be the Celestial Differentiator set. This is going to increase your crit damage by 16%, and if you have higher than 120% crit damage, when you enter battle for one time only, your first attack is going to have a 60% increased chance to crit. Since this is a one-time thing as soon as you enter battle and it doesn't persist through the whole length of the battle, it's not going to be super ideal, but it's not terrible either. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 2 out of 5 stars. Moving on to World 6, we have the Belobog of the Architect set, which is going to increase your defense by 15%, If your effect hit rate is 50% or higher, you're going to get an extra 15% defense. This is a phenomenal set because every character that uses defense can make use of effect hit rate and ideally would want to go for that. With the exception of Fire MC, it may not lean towards that as much, but you are most likely going to be able to achieve both of these bonuses if you're building properly. So that's going to put this set at 5 out of 5 stars and probably your best in slot option for characters like Gepard and March 7. And finally, last but not least, the final set in World 6, which is going to be the Inert Salsoto. This is going to be another weird set, but it's going to increase your crit rate by 8%. When you reach 50% crit rate or higher, your ultimate and your follow-up attack damage is going to be increased by 15%. This is a little bit of a tricky set because not all characters have follow-up abilities, but this can be decent for characters like Clara, Himeko, and even the upcoming Jing Yuan, as he will have a couple of good options for the set. I will say that it's probably not the best, so I'm going to go ahead and rate this at 3 out of 5 stars. With all of the simulated universe sets covered now, I will say that World 3 is going to be your best option for spending your resources because there are 2 5-star sets here that you're going to want to absolutely have. So this is going to be the best place for you to possibly spend your currency if you wish to spend it on relics. So farming World 3-2 is going to be the way to go. With simulated universe sets covered, let's go ahead and dive into the Cavern of Corrosion sets, which is going to be your main source of body armor gear. So first up, we're going to talk about the top section here. This is going to be the Path of Gelid Wind. So we have the ice set coming in here. The ice set is going to increase your damage by 10%, and when you use your ultimate, your crit damage is going to be increased by 25% for 2 turns. A lot of the ice characters are preservation characters, but the only ice character that is going to be able to utilize this is going to be Yan, who is a 5-star ice DPS, and it is a decent set. However, there might be some better options out there. I'm going to go ahead and rate this one 4 out of 5 stars because it can be very niche, but at the end of the day, it's probably not what you're looking for on most characters. And the second set that's part of that is going to be the Eagle of Twilight line. This is a very powerful set as the 2-piece bonus is going to increase your wind damage by 10%, and the 4-piece is going to allow you to increase your advanced action forward by 25% when you use your ultimate. This is really great for characters like Dan Heng as well as Sampo, so this is going to be a very, very strong ability. I will think that this will be decent on Bronya as well. It will allow you to kind of keep that cycle of improving characters' actions constantly, so this can be a very, very strong option. I'm going to go ahead and rate this 5 stars. Now we're going to hop into the next Cavern of Corrosion, which is going to be the Path of Jabbing Punch. This is a very funny name, but first up we're going to talk about the Champion of Streetwise Boxing set. This is going to be for physical characters. The first 2-piece is going to give you 10% physical damage, a very nice bonus, and this is where the magic happens. The 4-piece is going to give you 5% attack power. As long as you hit somebody or you are hit, it's going to stack up 5 times and last for the entire battle. So that's 25% total attack power, and this set is absolutely phenomenal. This is arguably one of the better sets in the game for sure, but the only thing is you kind of need to be a physical character to use this. So I will go ahead and rate this 5 out of 5 stars. This is going to be fantastic for Sushang and characters like Clara as well. Next up, in the same cavern, we have the Thief of Shooting Meteor set. This is going to increase your break effect by 16%, and the 4-piece will do an additional 16% with the added bonus of regenerating a small amount of energy when you weakness break a target. This can be okay if you are stacking break effect on a character like Sampo, or maybe even a physical DPS character like Sushang or Clara, but I will say that in most cases you're not going to be able to make super good use of this unless it's in a niche strategy. So we're going to go ahead and give this one 3 out of 5 stars. Moving on to the next cavern, we have the Passerby of Wandering Cloud set. This is going to increase your outgoing healing by 10% for the 2-piece, and the 4-piece is going to regenerate 1 single skill point at the start of battle. I don't believe that this set is particularly best in slot for anyone. The 2-piece is okay at best, but most characters are going to want the 4-piece of the speed boosting set, which we'll talk about here after. So I'm going to go ahead and rate this one 2 out of 5 stars. And now we get into the second set for this Cavern, and this is going to be the Musketeer of Wild Wheat. This is that coveted speed set that a lot of people are going to be aiming for, especially on support characters. And the best part about this set is that the two-piece is pretty universal for pretty much any character in the game. So you can mix and match a two-piece of this set plus the appropriate element, and you will be pretty solid. It won't be best in slot, but it will be pretty good. But where it is best in slot is for supporting characters. You're going to increase your attack by 12%, and then on top of that, you're going to increase your speed by 6%, which is very important. The more action support characters can take, the better off they can power up and enable your team. And it also has basic attack damage by 10%, which isn't too bad, especially for characters like Tinyun. So this is going to be a pretty solid set. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have the Path of Providence Cavern, which is going to include the Guard of Wuthering Snow set. This is going to reduce your damage by 8% for the 2-piece, and the 4-piece is going to restore your maximum HP, as long as it's less than 50%, by 8% of your max, and regenerate you some energy. I think that this set is actually really good. I think it's very strong on the fire main character, and it has some niche uses on like Gepard and maybe a couple of other defensive options. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 out of 5 stars. I think that there is a few better sets, but it is a very decent option. And the next relic in the set is going to be the Genius of Brilliant Stars. This is going to increase your quantum damage by 10% for the 2-piece, and the 4-piece is really interesting. When the wearer deals damage to the target enemy, you're going to ignore 10% of their defense flat out, and if the target enemy has the quantum weakness, which is going to come from breaking them with a quantum character, you're going to ignore another 10% defense. So this is really nice penetration to the enemy's damage, and it's going to allow you to deal a lot more. So I would go ahead and rate this one 5 out of 5 stars. This is a perfect option for a character like Seele. Moving on to the second to last cavern here, we have first up the Knight of Purity Place. Knight of Purity Place is going to be a really good set. The 2-piece is going to increase your defense by 15%, and the 4-piece is going to increase the max damage that can be absorbed by a shield created by the character by 20%. So this is going to allow you to go over the cap threshold of shielding and push you further ahead. So I think that this is a phenomenal piece for characters like Gepard as well as March 7, and it's going to give you a lot of power to those shields. So I'm going to go ahead and rate this one 5 out of 5 stars. And the other set within the same cavern is going to be the Band of Sizzling Thunder. This is going to increase your lightning damage by 10% for the 2-piece, and whenever you use a skill for the 4-piece, you're going to increase your attack power by 20% for 1 turn. This is going to be really good for characters like Serval, and especially Jing Yuan coming up. I think this is probably going to be one of the better sets in the game. It is very simple to activate, and a lot of characters are going to be able to make use of this, so I'm going to go ahead and rate this one 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, the last cavern we have here is going to be the bottom Path of Conflagration. So the first set coming up here is going to be the Fire Smith of Lava Forging. The 2-piece is going to increase your fire damage by 10%, and the 4-piece is a little bit tricky. It's going to increase your skill damage by 12%, and when you unleash your ultimate, your next attack is going to do an additional 12% fire damage. So this is going to be a decent set to have for the 2-piece, but I think that you might want to mix this one with the Wild Wheat set just to get extra guaranteed attack power rather than opt in for the 4-set bonus. So this will be decent for characters like Himeko as well as Hook, and a couple of others, maybe even Asta. So I would recommend splashing a bit on that, but I think the 2-piece is the best option here. So we're gonna go ahead and give this one 4 out of 5 stars. And the final relic set in the tree here is going to be the Wastelander of Banditry Desert. This is going to increase your imaginary damage by 10% for the 2-piece, and the 4-piece is going to allow you to get 10% crit and 20% crit damage against any target that is imprisoned. So this is going to be really nice. The 10% crit is going to come from any target that has any sort of debuff. So this is going to be fantastic for a character like Welt. This is going to be a 5-star set, but the only caveat to this is, well, Welt is the only imaginary character in the game for now. So when we get some other characters down the line, this set will definitely be a lot more versatile, but for now it's a single character use set. And with all of these caverns now talked about, I think that the best option for you to use your resources on right now, especially if you plan to pull Jing Yuan, as the Lightning Lord is coming very soon, is going to be this bottom set here in the Path of Holy Hymn, which is going to include the Night of Purity Place, as well as the Lightning Band of Sizzling Thunder. You're going to get 2 relic sets as a possibility here that are very strong, and if you don't plan to pull for Jing Yuan, and you're looking for some other options, I think that as a universal set, going into the Path of Drifting and trying to get the Wild Wheat set can be nice to power up your characters, but do keep in mind that a lot of characters' best in slot gear pieces revolve around using a 4-piece of their set element. So while you can mix and match the 2-piece with this 2-piece Wild Wheat, it will be slightly underperforming in a perfect world, but of course that's assuming you have perfect artifacts and perfect sets, so it might be easier to obtain some easy power by going in for that set option. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I hope that this helped you in deciding what to use your resources on, as we are in Trailblaze level 40 through 50 now, and this is going to be an important time to start farming some relics and power up your characters as you prepare to enter the Memory of Chaos and start to challenge some of the endeavors in there. Hopefully this guide helped you out. If it did, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell button down below to get notified of my future guides and video content. Thank you for watching the video, and we will see you in the next one.